Hey guys, welcome back to our podcast, Show Your Stripes. I am Allie and I am here with Will, like always.
Hello, folks. I am somehow here still after um this series has been not fun. Like
Nope, we're going to be going through this lovely series against Cleveland this week and also talking about our game tonight that happened tonight. I mean, we obviously got swept by the Guardians this week, which I mean should not come as a surprise to us anymore, but still definitely not fun to watch.
especially considering all games were easily winnable, but we just let them. We lost, but we ended up getting in our own way each time.
Yeah, no, there's definitely a lot of missed opportunities this week. I feel we at least could have left with one win out of that series.
Should have had
So,
at least one. I mean, they literally probably should have won the game on Thursday, but apparently, like it's literally a tradition. If we're in extra innings, we got to give up a run and not score in the bottom half of the 10th.
yeah, we just suck at like making through a 10th inning.
It's literally. I understand that the ghost runner rule is complete and utter horseshit, and it should not be in the league. But like,
Yeah,
um, it should not be that hard to keep a guy from scoring from second base.
no, it should not at all. And I mean, we can thank that one for our lovely friend Soto, but definitely, I mean, going into our first game of the series, I mean, I do have to say that within this series, we did not get shut out. So, that is a bonus. Got to take the little bright sides to things because, I mean, that's all we have left for it this season.
I mean, yeah. I mean, we're in a. It seems like this team has been in a nosedive at least the past month or so.
Mhm. Yeah. And I mean, also before we get started, I mean, we found out the news today that Skubal got moved to the 60-day injured list and more than likely will be finished for the rest of the season because he has to go see a specialist for his elbow. So,
Which every time you hear that, you always think, "Oh, Tommy John." Which I mean, normal scenario, I would be more concerned about it, but he's had it in the past, so I'm not. I'm just hoping that he didn't like do something stupid to his elbow again.
I know, me too. I'm hoping that, he'll be able to start back up next season fresh with it all. But so we found out that today. And then, I mean, yeah, just I guess we can get started on going over the recap of what was it, Wednesday's game, right?
Tuesday's game first.
Tuesday's game, yes.
Yeah, so the first game, the obviously Tigers lost 5-2 in a game where they really just did not show up until the ninth inning. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I think before that ninth inning on that game on Tuesday, we were in the midst of, I believe, like it was like a 17 inning scoreless streak,
Yes.
and
Because,
then they just showed up in the ninth inning out of nowhere and still lost.
yeah, to be honest, I really thought it was going to be like a similar repeat to what happened. I think it was that Sunday game with the 0-7 loss. So I really was at that point before the ninth inning, really feel like we were going to have just a straight up shutout again. So,
So,
I mean, we
so
ended,
good.
I was just about to say we ended with 6 hits that night. So,
Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and go through all the run scoring. Game went scoreless until the fifth inning when Austin Hedges brought home Owen Miller on a sac fly to left field. Top six, Ahmed Rosario, an RBI double, made it 2-0. Then in the eighth inning is when it got broken open. Oscar Gonzalez, a two-run RBI double, and then Josh Naylor brought him in the next batter later. And then bottom of the ninth inning, we'll get into that because it was a lot more. It got interesting in the bottom of the ninth, but we ended up losing still. Um, so what happened was in the bottom of the ninth, I believe it was Class A pitching, or no, I think somebody else started the bottom of the ninth. Yeah, Eli
Yeah.
Morgan started the bottom of the ninth. He went 2/3 of an inning, allowed 2 hits, 2 runs, and walked 2. And the Tigers ended up scoring 2 in the bottom of the ninth, one on after walking in a run, and then a wild pitch. So we didn't even get a hit for the RBIs we both got. Were not even on hits that night, which really is not. I mean, I'll take the run support, I guess, but like you got to hit the ball.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like we've talked about multiple times, especially over the last few weeks. I mean, just the offense is just not there. There's nothing happening. I mean, we should not be going. I mean, that game wasn't it. We had like no hits going on for the first how many innings too? Like we didn't even have.
Let me check here.
I mean, it was just a very dead game.
Yeah, it didn't. It was not a. It was a definite snooze fest, and quite honestly, it was not a game for fans of run support. And I mean, let's be honest though, if I'm saying that, who actually tunes onto a Tigers game and expects to see a high scoring affair?
And then it's happened. What you probably can count it on one hand for the season.
3 times. I literally think it's only been 3 times this season they've scored more than 10.
Yeah, so very minimal. So I mean, I guess turning on, you don't expect it. I do have to point out that they were. I've been keeping track of our errors because the amount of errors that have been made this season is ridiculous. But they did manage to get through this game without an error. So like I said, taking the small victories where we can get them.
Going over the box score here, we have Riley Green went 2 for 4 on Tuesday night. Javi Baez 0 for 4. Harold with 3 strikeouts, which is not surprising at all. Harold Castro 1 for 4 with a run scored. Miguel Cabrera 1 for 3 with a strikeout. Victor Reyes pinch ran for him and ended up getting an at bat where he went 1 for 1. Jamer Candelario 0 for 2 with 2 walks. Lily Castro 1 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. Jonathan Scope 0 for 4 with a strikeout. Tucker Barnhart 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Eric Haas pinch hit for him and got the RBI walk. And Akil Baddoo 0 for 4. So definitely not surprising to see that anemic of an offense, but I mean at least there was some diversity in the hit selection.
And I mean, we had Alexander pitching that night, and I mean, I was impressed that he was able to get through 7 innings because I definitely think with everything that's been happening, having a day off for a bullpen, majority of the bullpen was good. So him being able to get through 7, I would say definitely was a good thing for us. But I mean, he allowed 2 of the runs to come in. So
Yeah, Will Vest was the one who who took the 8th inning, and it really broke it open from that point on. So, yeah, I mean that game was really a wash, and that it's just another story of Tigers don't show up offensively, other team does, and we've said that so many times on this pod. It sounds like a broken record. So I guess we can go ahead and move on to the next game because we got 4 games to cover here. So game 2, I personally attended this one, and it was interesting, I'll say that.
it was a winnable game.
Yeah, they literally could have won that game. They literally, like I said, the Guardians got their 3 runs in the first 2 innings, and then I think after I think 2 1/3 innings, the Tigers held the Guardians hitless and retired them in order all the way to the end of the game. Yet they still could not take advantage of that and somehow they only scored 2 runs and still lost.
Yeah. I mean, before going over the numbers, the biggest thing I'm seeing is we literally went 4 for 14 with runners in scoring position, and we left 8 of them on base that night. So,
And obviously this was the game that before, or the day that Vila was let go, and also the game where Kerry Carpenter made his major league debut at designated hitter. And it really, I mean, it was kind of like a tale. Like, Kerry Carpenter's debut was not as advertised at all. I'm not going to knock him too hard because he was literally hitting double-A pitchers just a couple months ago. But and he went 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts, including one in a bases loaded situation in the bottom of the 8th, which that inning alone annoyed the hell out of me, considering they had the bases loaded with, I think, only 1 out, and they still could not manage to score a goddamn run.
like, at that point, we at least could have tied the game.
And I
Like,
expected them to, too.
yeah, they just let that slip away. Like there was just so many opportunities in that game that it was just frustrating to watch.
Yeah, they had the bases loaded with 1 out in the bottom of the 8th, and Eric Haas struck out after a long at bat. Then Kerry Carpenter struck out looking, I believe. And that whole inning was really annoying, especially because how electric the ballpark was. Because we all thought we were going to tie the game up and potentially win it if we could get a single of some sort. But no, we struck out both times.
I mean, just the amount of times we have left the bases loaded this season is ridiculous. Like,
Yeah.
we
I mean,
should be able to drive in at least 1 run off of that. Like, that's all I'm asking for. It's just a single run. Anything would be nice.
I mean, like I said, we literally we retired, I think, 20 consecutive batters uh, from going from, I think, from like with 1 out in the 3rd inning. The Guardians did not have a single base runner from that point forward, and we still could not take advantage of that.
Yeah, our bullpen held up really well that game. So,
Drew Hutchison started the game. He took the loss just because obviously the offense did not show up and not give him any run support. He went 5 innings, allowed 8 hits, all of which were within, I believe, the first 2 innings. 3 runs, all earned, walked 1, struck out 3.
yeah,
And then
he definitely got into a flow after the first 2 innings and was able to actually finish off pretty well after that. So,
obviously the bullpen held its ground. They struck out let's see, they struck out 5 batters, and all were in retired they retired 12 consecutive batters from the 6th inning onward. Obviously, Alex Lang, Joe Jimenez, Andrew Chafin, and Gregory Soto all were perfect in their roles.
yeah, look, I mean, we got another game that Soto actually did what he was supposed to. I mean, 50-50 shot if we're going to get him or not, but it also wasn't like at that point, we weren't in the lead. And, I guess that seems to make a difference a little bit, but compared to the outing before that, definitely, had us all a little bit worried that we were about to like blow open that game.
Yeah, the Tigers offense here, Riley Green was 2 for 5 in that game. Victor Reyes 0 for 3. Javi Baez 0 for 3 with a run scored. Harold Castro 2 for 4. Eric Haas 1 for 4. I mentioned Kerry Carpenter. He went 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts and 5 men left on base. Jamer Candelario 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. Jonathan Scope 1 for 4 with a strikeout, and Akil Baddoo 2 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. So, I mean, I've noticed Baddoo has actually started to heat up a little bit too. So, I mean, there's that.
It's been good to see that because for the first while since he's been back, I definitely was a little bit worried they were gonna just send him back down. So I have noticed that he's starting to get a little, at least he's able to get some hits, because I feel like a lot of games he was going just over 3, over 4.
Yeah. The Guardians lineup that day was really beatable, and they really should have won this game. I mean, look at the lineup here. You got Stephen Kwan, Ahmed Rosario, Jose Ramirez, Josh Naylor, and Oscar Jimenez, your usual suspects, and then your 6 through 9 guys in the lineup were complete and utter strangers. You had Nolan Jones, who I didn't even know existed. Will Benson, another guy I didn't know existed. Austin Hedges and Miles Straw. Austin Hedges is one of the worst catchers in baseball. Miles Straw cannot hit a lick. And apparently we still could not, even with how anemic the Guardians offense was past the second inning, we still could not take advantage of that.
Yeah, hot mess. Just another one of those hot mess games of not being able to catch up. And it just sucks to watch because there was opportunities for them. It's not like it didn't happen. It's not like we just were continually getting struck out. I mean, they had plenty of opportunities to actually bring in some runs, and it just didn't happen.
Yeah, the game was just missed opportunities. Was a ton of missed opportunities this whole series, not even just this game. But it seemed like mostly forefront in this one. So, moving on, you have the game against the game 3, which was on Thursday afternoon. Tigers lost that one 4-3 after coming back down 3-0 with 2 runs in the ninth and still lost in extra innings. Yeah, that one hurt.
Yeah, definitely. And there was even the chance for us to win that game in the ninth as well. So it's not like we had a solid chance to win that game in the ninth, and it didn't happen.
Yeah, Garrett Hell started the game on Thursday. He went 5 innings, allowed 4 hits, 3 runs, 1 earned, walked 2, struck out 1, and the only earned run was a solo home run to Stephen Kwan. And then Cisnero, 1 inning, 1 hit. Jason Foley, 1 inning, no hits, no runs. Will Vest, 1 inning, 2 hits, and 1 strikeout. Luis Castillo, 1 inning of clean baseball. Then Gregory Soto took the loss just because he inherited the ghost runner in the top of the 10th and allowed it to come across.
Yeah.
So
Hill definitely looked pretty. I mean, Hill definitely wasn't his best outing, but also definitely wasn't his worst.
I mean, like I said, the 2 runs that were unearned were both on Javi Baez, I believe, because
yes.
there were
3
3 errors combined, 2 of them between Javi Baez, in which I said I think this is like the 3rd time within the past month that Javi Baez has had 2 errors in a game.
Like I tweeted this because literally from Thursday to Thursday, we had 0 errors. Like the team was on a good air streak, and then they just decided to make up for it by getting 3 on Thursday's game.
Yeah, it was not pretty.
Yes. So now Baez severely leads the MLB in the amount of errors with 19 now.
I think
And at
so.
least the last time I checked, the second was still Bobby Witt Jr. with 16, unless he got another one since then. So I think I checked that a day or 2 ago. So not entirely sure, though.
Riley Green was 0 for 5 that game. Victor Reyes 1 for 5 at the strikeout. Javi Baez, he went 2 for 5 with a home run, but I'm not going to give him much credit because, like I said, he basically cost us the game with those errors. Harold Castro 0 for 3. Willie Castro 3 for 4 with a run scored. Jonathan Scope 1 for 4. Kerry Carpenter again 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. Tucker Barnhart 0 for 3, who then Miguel Cabrera then pinch hit for him on the ninth, got intentionally walked, and then got pinch run for by Cody Clemens. And then Akil Baddoo 0 for 2, and then Eric Haas pinch hit for him and went 0 for 2 in that scenario as well.
I do have to say, I did find it interesting that they intentionally walked Miggy to load the bases in the ninth.
Yeah, it didn't surprise me because they needed to set up the double play somehow, but I thought they would have done it the batter previous because they had the same scenario with the previous batter, but they pitched to him, but they didn't pitch to Miggy.
Yeah. So to be honest, I was not expecting it, so I was a little shocked when I saw it, but I mean, it makes sense on their part of it. And I guess it did work in their favor, so.
Yeah. Obviously the scoring, the 2 runs that were unearned were scored. One of them was on a throwing error by Bias, top second. The second one was unearned because I believe it was the Castro error. Could be wrong though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Top 5, Stephen Kwan solo home run. Bottom 6, Javi Baez had that home run, and then the bottom of the ninth, Willie Castro singled and brought in. Bottom of the ninth, Willie Castro singled. Jonathan Scope brought in the first runner in the bottom of the ninth, and then Eric Haas got a RBI fielder's choice, I believe, to tie the game in the bottom of the ninth. And then, like I said, we did the thing where we cannot allow a runner to, or we are literally incapable of stranding the ghost runner at second base.
It just did. I mean, I feel like now with this, so this was the 5th game this season that we've gone into extra innings, and we are now 1 for 4 with winning in those extra innings.
Yeah, it's not surprising, especially considering how many games Cleveland's played in extra innings. You'd think they might have a little more experience in that scenario. They've played, I think, at least 12, I believe.
Yeah.
And it didn't surprise me.
No.
I thought
Just
they just needed to win it there, and I feel like if they didn't, they probably would have lost, and they did. So
I was honestly expecting Riley to walk it off again.
I think we all did. It just, I
Like
mean,
I think
he wanted
I
it
was
too because we heard him have the hot mic incident after
yeah.
the fact.
Like I just got my hopes up way too high because I really was expecting him to walk it off, and then when he struck out swinging, I just knew at that point the game was going to be over.
Yeah. So I think we can move on. And now, after we got swept, tonight's game was,
Our
neither of us watched it. I'm going to be honest, but we're going to go over what we can here.
It was
'Cause,
our 16th shutout of this season tonight, which
yeah,
I feel describes it all.
yeah, it was a complete snooze fest. I didn't even watch it because I was at the Lions game tonight, and they also disappointed me. So I would have been disappointed either way. But yeah, the Tigers only had 3 hits tonight, and all of them came past the 7th inning. They got no hit by the White Sox pitching staff through the first 6, and that was all
I,
by Kopech. He went 6 innings, allowed no hits, no runs, no earned runs, walked 3, and struck out 11 batters.
it's insane. That's insane. I really, when I checked the score, I think it was during the end of the 5th or the beginning of the 6th. I was like, oh, we're really gonna go a no hitter tonight. Like it's really just gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's completely stupid and honestly not surprising at all.
Mm.
Um, Tigers only had the 3 hits. All of them came within 3 different innings. In the bottom, we had a Javi Baez single in the 7th off of Ronaldo Lopez, an Akil Baddoo single off of Kendall Graveman in the 8th, and a Javi Baez single off of Liam Hendricks in the bottom of the 9th, or top of the 9th. So, from a Tigers perspective, there was absolutely nothing going on.
Yeah, no, it was just dead. Bats were dead.
I mean, I'm 14 strikeouts compared to 3 walks and only 3 hits. So even if we still had double the amount of strikeouts than we did combined hits and walks.
Yeah. And I mean, it's still ridiculous that literally 7 of the players tonight did not get a hit. Like, I mean, Baez literally got the 2 hits and then Badu. So, like, 7 of them could not manage to get a hit.
Yeah, Daniel Norris came back and pitched and started tonight's game. He went 4 and 2/3 innings, allowed 4 hits of shutout baseball, walked 2, struck out 1. Then Jason Foley came in, pitched 1 and a third innings, allowed 1 hit, struck out 2. Alex Lang went 1 inning to allowed three hits, 2 runs, both earned, walked 1, struck out 1. And he takes the loss tonight. And then Willie Peralta came and pitched the bottom of the 8th and walked 2, but struck out 2. No damage done there. So, if you were, like I said, if you're a fan of Tigers offense, this game is not for you.
No. And honestly, at this point in the season, I don't know how many of those fans are left.
I mean, even at the game tonight, let me look at. I don't even know how many people showed up to the game tonight because apparently there were not a lot of fans there to see the White Sox tonight, considering how mediocre they are. But it's just embarrassing.
Yeah. No, agreed. I mean, I'm just hoping that they're able to do something with the rest of this series. I mean, we still have 2 more games against the White Sox this weekend, and I'm just hoping that we are able to get it going a little bit. I mean, I know that's a lot to ask now, but I just severely hope that we can stop this losing streak and just win a game,
Yeah,
because
it'd be nice.
I think like we need it, they need it. Like, just the amount of losses we've had lately is just, it's rough.
So, all right, so Saturday night's game will be at 7:10 p.m. It'll be Matt Manning on the mound for the Tigers against Lucas Giolito, who is not his old self. He has a 4.91 ERA and an 8-6 record. And so, honestly, that game could go either way. It just matters of who his offense actually shows up. Sunday's game, 2:10 start. You've got Tyler Alexander, who is 2-6 with a 3.83 ERA, against Lance Lynn, who is 2-5 with a 5.88 ERA. So, I mean, on paper, we could probably get hits off of Lynn, but I feel like we're gonna be in another one of those scenarios where it's the guy who's so bad he'll probably make him look like he's fucking Cy Young.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, that's just the thing we love to do this season. But yet, actually against good pitchers, we somehow managed to, like, dominate against them. I still am confused about that one, but I guess it just goes very well with this season.
And it's fun we bring that up because the guy who literally owned us as a bad pitcher, Aaron Savale, will also pitch in Game 1 of the doubleheader on Monday against the Guardians in Cleveland, which that game, the first game, was the one I was actually originally supposed to go to on Sunday in Cleveland when it got rained out.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, 2 in Cleveland. That's the only one we know is Aaron Savale will start on the first game of that doubleheader. And quite honestly, I'm not even sure if they're going to bring up another pitcher to start that doubleheader. We'll have to see what they do. But they're going to have to, like, dig deep into the farm to find somebody who could pitch, because I don't even know who's left.
Yeah, I really don't either. I mean, the amount of, like, we were just talking before we started recording on how we literally have, like, our starting rotation is not even like a starting rotation anymore. It's basically just a rotation of pitchers, because
It's like a bunch of bullpen arms and some pitchers who actually are considered starters.
I mean, I just put out a tweet about this because we're now up to 9 starting pitchers on the injured list. And this season alone, we have used 15 different starting pitchers, which is the highest in the MLB this season, which
Yeah,
is just crazy.
yeah, it's just insane. Honestly,
So
like
it will be interesting to see who they have pitching, pitching with the Cleveland series next week.
it'll be an experience for sure. I have a feeling it'll be somebody who we have never seen before. It'll probably be like the 17th different guy we've thrown out there.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so that will definitely be interesting to watch.
So I think we can go ahead and wrap it up tonight. Obviously we will try and hope for a couple wins so the mood's a little more less somber than it is, because obviously when you're losing so many games, it's hard to have a positive attitude. Um, so anything else you want to add before we wrap it up?
No, just like normal. Thank you guys for supporting us. We really appreciate it, and hopefully you guys are enjoying it.
All right, thanks for listening, everybody.